Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, be greeted from your positions respective wherever you are, everywhere in this world. In the news international, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Iranians just dropped off Guyaka in the face of the UN. No, he made a statement very interesting. Yes. Yes. His answer at the UN was a response from a state that takes responsibility. Despite the fact that they triggered the sanctions against Iran, Iran remains still standing, and Iran shows that it is a sovereign country. Yes, it is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Araghchi, who spat out his four truths at the UN. What did he say? And what did he said? It scares the members of the UN Security Council, which have refused to validate and the project of Russian-Chinese resolution, a draft which aimed to delay by 6 months the advent of sanctions against Iran. So, it is from this reaction that we will speak, but I already ask you to share the video conference. Share in all groups possible. Yes, allow others to join us. Always leave many likes with a word in comment. Tehran's official reaction, the Iranian response to the return of the UN sanctions. So Araghchi's firm statement, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Iranian Abbas Araghchi, threw his next words in the face of the UN. He says this: Iran will not give in, never, to pressure and sanctions. Finished. Iran will never give in to the pressure and sanctions. This means if they want, they only have increased sanctions. But Iran is already in another world. We have the UN, which is divided into two blocks. The bloc Western on one side, the global Southern bloc from one to the other side. Even if the Western Bloc, it seems, be a little more numerous, but Iran is already in good hands. Sanctions they have taken against Iran, perhaps the fact of them disconnect from the SWIFT, but Iran conducts currency exchanges local with Russia and China. Russia will continue to arm Iran. China too, the trade will be passed between them because the sanctions are so severe that even on the commercially, Iran is affected. So Araghchi says Iran will never give in to pressure and sanctions. Since 2015, they have been sanctioning Iran. Iran continues its little way until Iran has reached the power to which Iran finds itself today. So it's a formula that sweeps away everything prospect of compromise. This means there will be no compromise because if the UN has taken such a resolution, it was obviously to put Iran water on the wall so that Iran can perhaps plead in favor of a compromise. But no, not of possible compromise, and this confirms the hard line of land. The message is addressed to NATO as much than to its public opinion. Iran poses as a power resistant and sovereign. That's the message. Iran is speaking in as a resisting power and a sovereign power. It is a strategic positioning of Iran. This is another form of victory for Iran because it shows that Iran is somehow harassed, segregated, all that there. Why all that we blame Iran? We don't blame this to Israel, which commits the worst. It is said that we don't want to see Iran develop nuclear weapons. But an Israel which has nuclear weapons and which continues to bombard a little everywhere. Why don't we take decisions against Israel? And even when decisions are made by the UN, Israel doesn't respect. Why Iran and his allies will respect? Yes, because the Western Bloc, they are ready to submit. That's the decision. Arranged, therefore, they will make life difficult. They will refuse to trade with Iran. They will refuse to sell the weapons to Iran, but Iran will manage with the elements of the global south. So refusal to apply restrictions imposed by the UN, it is Iran's strategic positioning. This is a signal sent to its allies. The Russia, China, that means Iran, remains aligned in the anti-Western axis. We must remember it. There is an axis anti-Western and has a protruding axis. Iran decides to choose its strategic positioning, which is to Iran's advantage, moreover. So, this strategic positioning of Iran is also the will of demonstrate that even under sanctions, Iran is able to continue his program ballistic nuclear. And besides, it is because of these sanctions that Iran will accelerate the production of everything nuclear. If Iran is smart, Iran must act quickly accelerate. And I believe that this is the technique there that Russia and China wanted. Within 6 months, Iran would have accelerated. Iran would have nuclear power, and then we hide it, and then we say, good, it's good, we're going out in it. Now, Iran, the nuclear. So what is the geopolitical scope and the implications of this statement of Minister Araghchi, the Minister of Iranian Foreign Affairs? The political scope, we are heading towards a confrontation inevitable. Confrontation will be inevitable. Besides, we saw Israel and Washington strike Iran because of this program of nuclear development. Now that the resolution is made, its fines serve as strong points for Israel, solid arguments to be able to strike Iran again. America will also use this, forgetting that the UN has made a decision very recently to which Israel refuses to submit to. So Araki's words close the door to any immediate negotiation. Israel and Washington can rely on each other on this statement, as I said just now, to justify increased coercive measures, including on the military level. So tensions rise to a level where the diplomatic option fades behind the logic of the balance of power. And the coming days may still be very difficult. If in the past we have seen the war of the 12 days, it could perhaps be the 34-day or 200-day war. Don't want it. So the effects will be beyond the Middle East. It is an open fracture in the Council of Security. We have the West against Russia and China around Iran. There you go. And so Tehran seeks to strengthen itself in the Moscow-Beijing axis with solidarity, economic and military, in the face of sanctions. So there is a risk of overall impact. The price increase oil, security threats maritime in the Persian Gulf, and increased instability in the region. The repercussions are likely to be very serious. And so young ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of the news. I'll get back to you shortly, the time with new information. It was the voice of your humble servant, the Samurai.